Chapter 7. She never thought of a long future with Lu Yu, letting out a heavy sigh. Memories of her friend and Lu Yu's wedding certificate flooded into Ye Yunan's mind, filling her with a sense of melancholy. Su Wan Ci. Lu Yu is not an easy person to handle, Ye Yunan lamented, leaving aside the fact that heirs of wealthy families are often complex and enigmatic. Let's just focus on the fact that he's constantly immersed in a world of romance and scandals. He's not the kind of partner for a lifetime. Su Wan Ci had spent most of her time abroad and wasn't familiar with the affairs of Xi'an City. But Ye Yunan had grown up there and worked as a journalist, so she was well aware of Lu Yu's personality. Born into a prestigious family, Lu Yu was the sole heir, a shining example of noble lineage. However, his heart was far from the family business. He indulged in the pleasures of life, surrounded by an endless stream of scandalous affairs. Yet, he never seemed to invest emotionally, only dabbling on the surface. Women came and went around him. None stayed for more than half a month, except for the renowned actress Ji Tang. Ye Yunan recalled a woman who had once tried to leverage her pregnancy to secure a place by his side. The incident had caused quite a stir, attracting the attention of many journalists and igniting a citywide discussion. Ye Yunan vividly remembered that day when she had witnessed Lu Yu's cold, direct response to the woman's attempt, thinking you can enter the Lu family, become the mistress of the house, with your mere self-worth, in front of a crowd of onlookers and cameras. The woman turned pale at Lu Yu's straightforward words. Shortly afterward, she vanished from Xi'an City without a trace, seemingly under the influence of Lu's family's actions. Any connection to the woman became impossible to find. Ye Yunan was snapped back to reality by Su Wan Ci's voice. Nan Nan, you're overthinking it. I've never considered a long future with Lu Yu. Ye Yunan looked up, her gaze meeting Su Wan Ci's. Su Wan Ci continued, Fu Jing Zhou wants to turn me into a canary, subject to his control and plunder. The only force in Xi'an City that he fears even slightly is the Lu family. So Lu Yu is my only choice. It had nothing to do with love. It was simply a matter of convenience. That's probably for the best, Ye Yunan said. Sipping her coffee, she inquired, so are you planning to settle down in Xi'an City now? I'll stay here temporarily, Su Wan Ci replied. After a moment's pause, she added, I've signed a 3-year contract with Hualien Hospital. During these 3 years, I'll probably be here. Ye Yunan picked up on the hidden meaning in her words, asking, and after those 3 years, after 3 years, Su Wan Ci trailed off, her fingers tracing the edge of her cup. Her long, thick eyelashes cast shadows on her eyelids. By then, my parents and Fu Jingzhou's father's matters will probably be resolved. At that point, I plan to leave Xi'an City and return abroad. For the past 8 years, Su Wan Ci had been living abroad. To her, the foreign land was far more familiar than Xi'an City. Looking out the window, she felt a sense of estrangement in this bustling city. Xi'an City, the place of her birth, no longer held the feeling of home 15 years ago. Her solace in this city came from her parents 15 years later, until just a week ago. It had been Fu Jing Zhou, yet now abruptly awakened from a surreal dream. She realized that this place was now nothing more than an unfamiliar land to her. Private room, Lu Yu, holding his car keys, got up to leave, just as he was about to go. Shen Ming spoke up, Lu Yu, there's no need to clash with Fu Jing Zhou over a woman. Their 8-year friendship is complex, and even if you and Su Wan Ci have gotten a certificate, there's no need to play with fire. Listening to Shen Ming's words, Lu Yu twirled his KK absent-mindedly. He halted his steps, a trace of arrogance and coldness playing on his lips. Banking on you, do you think I fear Fu Jing Zhou? Or that the Liz fear the fuss? Although his words sounded arrogant, everyone understood. Lu Yu had the capital to be arrogant, whether it was him or the Lu family. They didn't fear Fu Jing Zhou and the Fu family. Others might hesitate to provoke Fu Jing Zhou. But Lu Yu and the Lu family were a different story. Having said that, Lu Yu walked out. After Lu Yu left, Cheng Yizhou glanced at the slowly closing door of the private room, then turned back to Shen Ming with a touch of disapproval. Ming, Why are you meddling in Liu and Su Wan Ci's affairs? Shen Ming sighed lightly. I just think that Fu Jing Zhou is currently one of Xiang City's top tycoons in the business world. His rise from nothing to his current position shows how deep his scheming and methods are. Shen Ming continued, if Liu is only captivated by Su Wan Ci's beauty, it's not worth clashing with someone like Fu Jing Zhou over a woman. Fu Jing Zhou, Liu, and Shen Ming were three extremes. One relied on his efforts to achieve everything. The other stood at the pinnacle of the pyramid from birth. People like Liu, Shen Ming, and Cheng Yizhou could easily possess everything without needing to do anything. Fu Jing Zhou was a newcomer in the business world, while Liu and the others were classic scions of noble families. In blunt terms, someone like Fu Jing Zhou, who achieved power and status through his own efforts, would likely look down on playboys like Shen Minghe and Cheng Yizhou. Similarly, Shen Minghe and Cheng Yizhou, as heirs of wealthy families, wouldn't actively provoke people like Fu Jing Zhou either. Although they existed within the same upper echelon, they had already reached an unspoken understanding and balance. They didn't interfere with each other, but they also kept each other in check. Cheng Yizhou clearly understood Shen Ming's implication. However, Ming, aside from Liu being able to overshadow Fu Jing Zhou in every aspect, even if he quietly got a marriage certificate with Su Wan Ci and announced their engagement openly, he wouldn't just be playing around with a woman. Shen Ming's expression changed slightly. He seemed somewhat surprised. He looked at Cheng Yizhou. Are you suggesting? Let's just wait and see. Cheng Yizhou leisurely sipped his drink, a hint of amusement on his face. I'm rather curious to see a scene where a prodigal son changes his ways and devotes himself to one person.